All right, welcome to Playground League here in the AGL. We're here. It's the week one feature matches. I'm here with Justin P. How's it going?
Not too bad. Been a while since I've been here.
Yeah, so we're here tonight. We have two relatively new players to our server in the last couple leagues here. We got Aaron R, who I'm watching, up against Austin, who I guess we know from being on Teamer with him. So, what's going on in his hand over there?
Well, to my understanding, he is at least playing Jund colors. May have more colors in his deck, but I cannot see them at the moment. He has a couple of rares in Lizard Blades and Witherbloom Command, and a Epic Confrontation.
All right, we have a couple of rares here ourselves here, and seems to have Aaron seems to have his colors here. He has two swamps in hand to go along with the forest and island. He's got yeah. We're gonna some of these cards we're gonna have to dig deep in our memories, even though they're only a few years old. He looks like he's gonna start off potentially with his either his Hound Tamer. He also has Kodama of the West Tree, so that's the mythic that cares about modifying
Okay.
creatures. He's got a Mirror Shell Crab to potentially counter something. He's got Overwhelming Remorse, which is a very nice removal spell, and he's got kind of a spicy six drop in his hand, the Keening Stone, which, if the game goes very long, may come into play. But looking at least for now, like it's going to be a creature based game for the time being.
Yeah. Now remind me what Keening Stone does.
Well, it's six to play. It's either four or five to use, and I believe player mills equals the number of cards in their graveyard. I think it has like
Ah,
that
yes,
that
yes.
River Churn Monument ability, but River Churn Monument is much cheaper and gets going very, very quickly, as opposed to
Yeah,
this, which
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe is
It's from
10 or 11 mana for the first use.
Yep.
All right, so we got
It
a little
is from the bonus
Daybound.
sheet, right?
Sorry?
It is from the bonus sheet of Brothers War, I believe.
Yeah, it's the retro artifact sheet there. Yeah, so we did have a flip over to
Oh,
nighttime here, meaning that Aaron gets a 4/4 and Austin gets he could have what is it, discard up to two cards and draw two,
yeah.
but he opted not to, it seems. So he was happy with his hand.
Okay. Yeah, a bit rough for this Untamed Pup to be a 4/4 because we do not have a clean answer to it. You would basically have to Witherbloom Command to give it -3/-1, and then Epic Confrontation it, which I believe is what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, we got a Mirror Shell Crab that's going to put an end to that. I mean, if you're Aaron, you could just let this happen, right? Because nothing happens.
Yeah,
Like he's just hold, he doesn't even have to use this Mirror Shell Crab, right? Because the Witherbloom, it looks like he is going to, but he could just bait out the next thing, right?
yeah,
Like he
yeah,
could just
for
let this
sure.
resolve. It doesn't kill his creature. His creature becomes a 1/1 or whatever, 1/3. Is that
Yeah,
it? Becomes a one
yeah,
three,
yeah,
and then what? Right?
yeah. Also, I see he suited up his Obsessive Astronomer with Lizard Blade, so we'll have Double Strike. The problem is that Untamed Pup can still attack through it, being able to put a counter on itself.
Yeah, I believe it's three mana to put a counter on something.
I believe, yeah.
I think both sides have that ability.
Yes.
Yeah, he's drawn another nice. He's drawn a couple nice ones here. Well, Scatter Ray, which is a counter spell, but also Falcon Abomination, which is a very nice card. But looks like he's just gonna see leaving up the mana means he can either Overwhelming Remorse or he can Scatter Ray, or if he doesn't feel like he wants to remove or counter anything, he can put a counter on his creature. So nice set of options here for Aaron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like the Scarab is going to get some use here and take care of this huge 5 drop,
yeah.
which is also a Capenna. Amazing.
This is the proto Thunderhead Gunner here. 5 mana, 4/5 with reach and another ability. Except Thunderhead Gunner's ability was pretty strong.
Oh yeah. The difference between cards, like even just like 2, 3 years ago, is still like very noticeable.
Yeah, and Wrecking Crew was like
But the
kind of
fact
like
that
it was kind of beefy in its set. Like it was kind of like fine. It wasn't like
and
a, a 5 mana 4/5 reach trap was never going to be like an all star, but it was solid.
I think we're getting use of a lot of like just generally okay cards in this league just because we have such a mitch and match. It's almost like a chaos sealed in a way.
Yeah, but I think the goal of the Shadow League committee here was to choose sets that were um, like old enough, but also not like really old. So like sets that were like in limited formats that were, for the most part enjoyed, if not beloved, some of them. And the power level
Yeah.
wasn't like through the roof, but like the power level of these sets were high for their time. But
Okay.
compared to today, you know, these sets seem a little tame sometimes, but still very fun
Yeah,
and
yeah, for
strong.
sure.
A lot of people consider this one
I,
of the golden ages of limited here, like that couple years, 2021 through 2022. A lot of good
yeah,
sets,
they had there was
even in 2020, like
definitely some fun interactions.
a lot of very fun, cool sets. And now we get play boosters with crazy power levels. But in the meantime, Aaron's assembled quite a fearsome board here. Okay, so there is that epic
Yeah, he's
confrontation.
definitely feeling the pressure here. He's drawn another land for turns, so he's definitely not going to be able to swing aggressively, or he
Oh,
thinks otherwise.
I mean, isn't it just? Is it not? And it's. I guess it's not technically 8 damage coming back, is it? Three.
Uh, it is not. I think there's the possibility he thinks that there's no way I can win this game if I don't try and kill my opponent.
Yeah, he just
So
said. He
like
just. Yeah. He said, "Oops." Maybe
he's
he
leaving himself
like.
open to draw
Yeah.
like a trick to potentially kill with double strike
Yeah, he said,
next
"Oops."
turn.
Maybe like he just like clicked too fast. Could be. And
I mean, I don't hate the attack that much because you're
Aaron's.
still getting attack. I guess you take two.
Yeah, Aaron's trying to rack his brain here. What could happen if I don't block? Does he have a trick to like just get me dead next turn? Hard to believe that one card in Austin's hand could get Aaron dead from 16, but he's thinking maybe if I take it this turn, something next turn could, like a +4 power or something next turn will do it. So he's thinking maybe
Is you
maybe
only
he's
have
taking a moment to look at his opponent's pool. I think in a situation like this, it's not unwarranted to take a look at what they might have. Looks like he is gonna give up both his creatures here just to not take that damage.
yeah keeps himself safe.
Oh, we
There is
got
a possibility.
we got a fun interaction coming up here with a decayed. Oh, I thought he was going to. Okay, I thought he was going to ninja in his Moonsnare specialist here, but looks like he's just going to go for the Keening Stone because he had a
Yes.
Moonsnare specialist. He could have ninjaed in. Okay,
With him having Heating Stone, it makes complete sense to kind of trade out your creature there because you want the game to go long, and this becomes your win con now. You don't need to kill your opponent. The Heating Stone will do its job eventually.
yeah, just
You
stay
just to
alive.
live.
Nice draw here of Angel of Synthesis. Draws an Eye Twitch, which he'll probably discard unless he values that over the bounce creature. Yeah, bounce creature better. Yeah, so Aaron, I don't know too much about. This is a second league. He's 0-1 thus far, so just getting started in his league. Austin, I mean, he was with us in Teamer in the last league, and had an amazing league. He finished 2010, but due to the amount of people in the league, usually 2010 is good enough for a top 8 or at least ninth place. But because of the huge number of people in the league, he did finish out of the top 8, but still extremely impressive performance in that league. So and he's 3-1 so far this league, so off to a nice start at least in week 1. Aaron's deciding what he wants to do here. He's drawn an Elvish Hydromancer, which requires 7 mana to kick to make a copy of a creature you control. But he just played it as a 3/2 here to block.
Okay, so he decided to opt to try and kill my opponent the old-fashioned way by attacking instead of trying to be fancy and kill them with a Keening Stone.
I mean, he got opponent pretty low. It would be strange to like just abandon that whole that whole thing. All right, so it looks like he's just gonna do a bounce here and try an attack for 5, and looks like it's gonna work. Yeah, so
Yep.
he had a
Just
chance to ninja that in for a little bit, but I think he just figured let me just use it to win.
mhm, it's fair. His line of plays had made it so he got the job done. Unfortunately, a rough stretch of lands for the opponent, but it's expected at some points.
Yeah, so looks like again we saw it was a
So looking at
Sultai deck
his
here.
deck list and sideboard now,
Yeah, I'm
I now
seeing
see the
the
reason for being Jund.
okay. What's he got there? Some a dragon of some
There
kind.
is a no, there is a creature in which you are potentially familiar with, the Soul of Windgrace.
That's a cat. Of course, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah,
That's a very
yes.
nice one. I don't see any Sultai cards here, but just a smattering of strong black, blue, and green cards. I do see a temporal anchor in the sideboard, which is a very very fun card, but maybe a little bit too aspirational here with the way the mana base is working out. Like he has no dual lands. He's just playing 997 here
Okay,
and hoping for the best.
okay, okay.
So didn't I mean worked out okay in that game.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I would assume that if he had better mana, he might have played that over like Keening Stone.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I didn't quite see if he had cards that fixed, but definitely the land situation is not where you want it to be. I'll say that. I don't think anybody's happy having that, but having mana like that. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Play your most powerful cards. Hope it works out, right? But nobody's excited to to build 997. But
Oh yeah. This is still week one of the Playground League. Typically, you'll forego you'll stress out your mana base just to play every powerful card you can because you just have such a low card pool.
yeah, for sure. Like I've played some sketchy mana bases in week one. Uh, Try not to, but you know sometimes the pool dictates that in order to present a 60 card deck, you have to you have to make some sacrifices, and yeah, the sacrifices here are being seen immediately with this hand of island, forest, and three black cards and a scatter ray. He is going to keep. He says, well, I have the scatter ray. I can stop the first thing. And then I can draw my Llanowar Loam Speaker, which taps to add any color of mana, which is what he did.
Oh, nice.
What's going on
So he'll
for
be able to at
Austin
least play
here?
some Magic this game.
Oh wow, okay,
Austin, he's playing Gorgoro as you see. Very powerful card, but you do need a bit of work to get it working.
yeah,
In his hand though, he needs a bit of he's missing black mana, though notably does not have any black cards besides a Dokuchi Shadow Walker,
the ninja.
which
Okay.
is the 6 mana 5/5 ninjutsu from Neo.
Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, he has Play with Fire, Electric Revelation, which can help dig for that swamp, and a
yeah.
Tireless Hauler, which he'll need to draw some lands for.
That's a 5 drop werewolf, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have a okay. So he's just gonna get rid of that, and with that goes all the black cards in Aaron's hand until he
Yeah, very
draws a
fortunate
swamp.
top deck.
Yeah, bolt the bird,
Realizes the
right? And here
danger
he
of the low
literally
speaker.
bolted.
Yeah, yeah.
Bolt the loam speaker, I guess. Doesn't have a good ring to it. So he's got a Hound Tamer as a potential play here. He could also play Combat Courier and hold up his Scatter Ray. Combat Courier being the 1 drop with Unearth. You can sack
Ah,
it to draw a card.
yes.
Very nice role player in Brothers War.
Yeah, that whole cycle ended up being a lot better than expected.
Oh,
Just the fact that it was colorless, and then basically the colored mana was more easier to use because you had some filtering lying around, but it just ended up being fine just to play
yeah,
on any color deck.
yeah. I think in Chaos a card like that might get a tiny bit a little bit worse. I think just because it
Yeah.
played into the synergies. Like Unearth was good. It was an artifact. Um, you know, it played roles in decks that it might not be able to play in a chaos setting. But I mean, the
Mhm.
card still like it can't be terrible. It could just be a little bit less good than it was. So yeah, his decision is whether he wants to play combat cur and hold up the counter spell or just run out his Hound Tamer. So the Goro Goro,
Well,
you
Hound
need
Tamer did a lot of
to
justice last game.
the Goro Goro, you need to pay 5 mana or 4 mana. Is it?
It's 5 mana and it has to have attacked while being modified, I believe.
Well, if you attacked with a modified creature, I believe,
Yes. Okay.
and I believe it can gain grant haste to something. Red creatures you control gain haste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he drew a 1 mana pump spells. This is the reason why he's able to attack it through into the Hound Tamer here.
I mean, I kind of feel like you just make them use it.
Yeah, but I understand this. Like Hound Tamer is like kind of your only action here,
Yeah.
being like it's potentially a threat as well. What if you don't cast any spells next turn?
Yeah, because he's on the verge of potentially running out of spells he can cast here with the 3 black cards in hand. He's run a Mirror Shell Crab, which is
Yeah.
another piece of interaction. Yeah, so
Okay.
the combat courier
Wants
is
to
nice.
wants to leave up Skyray.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get if he doesn't have a chance to scatter ray, he can just sacrifice the combat courier. So he's not without things to do, but it is a little unfortunate here. I mean, I feel like if I see this hand and I'm on the draw, and I have 3 things in my hand that I can't cast, I it's yeah. I mean, the scatter ray is okay, but might mulligan that a good portion of the time and hope to find something better. But all right, swamp off the top here. Uh, so what kind of mana is Austin leaving up here? What's he got?
So interestingly enough, he read that his opponent had the counter spell and did not want to run out his 5 drop, which was his only creature to get countered.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to do that, but what's the plan, right? Just to cast Electric
Yeah,
Revelation again? Like, I mean, okay.
yeah. I mean, it's still like fine, but it's not like advancing your board state in really much of any way.
Yeah, okay. So play with fire with the Prowler here.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, Aaron can just continue to leave up his counter spell. Like, he's fine with that.
But we're digging.
Yep.
We're gonna go dig for more cards, more creatures to potentially cast into this counter spell he might have.
Yeah, Electric Revelation's a nice one. I believe we're basically getting a functional reprint of that in Final Fantasy. I believe it's like has the exact same text. 3 and then
Okay.
5 flashback. All right, well, here's that Wrecking Crew, which is going to get countered. So I guess
Yeah, I think
he
he was
didn't have anything to
deciding
hold
whether
up,
to.
so that's why he just played his creature.
Well, what he could have done is actually he could have played like the Tomakul Scrapsmith. I don't know how many artifacts he would have, but
Mm.
he could have tried to bait out counterspell that way. I personally don't think it's worth countering. It's not that amazing of a creature if you don't have it that many artifacts in your deck.
All right, we got kind of a nasty card here, drawn Memory Lapse.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an old card that they would not print something like that today. But
yeah.
it showed up in the Strixhaven sheet, which means it's fair game to be opened here. There's a witty roast master. Aaron's deciding if he wants to. Well, he could use his crab or his memory lapse. So he's got the counter magic
Uh,
here going on.
the crab would not be able to make him pay enough because he has 3 mana
Oh,
to
he does
pay
have
for the
3.
crab, so it would not
Well,
be countered.
okay. So I guess he's memory lapsing then.
Yeah, the thing is about memory lapse here is that you can yes, you countered it, but also you could just replay it again because he still has 3 mana to play it. Oh no, it is
No,
goes on top of the
no, it
deck.
goes on top of the deck. It's not a remand or anything. Right, and it is getting milled now, so effectively it's out of here. Looks like we're just getting a 3/2 for 3 that mills 3. All right, well
He
that's
could have milled much worse.
yeah.
Let's be honest. He milled 2 lands, which is very fortunate for him.
Right, so he still can't cast his Extinguish the Light, but he can cast his Blade Brand that he's had in hand the whole game.
Wow, this is a
It's,
okay. He decides not to block the combat courier.
looks like he's not blocking anything. Huh. I feel like I'm at least blocking. I guess I guess he wants to make the dragon here. That makes sense. However, I
Ah,
believe the
yes.
crab counters abilities though as well, right? If I'm
Okay.
if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, I believe it does counter activated abilities. Let's see. Yeah, counter target spell or ability unless it's triple pays through. So this is actually going to be kind of the game here potentially, or not quite the game, but
Uh,
this is a huge shocker to Austin here. He's like, how can this be stopped? And yikes.
yes,
Uh,
crab was like one of the only ways to counter channel abilities back in Neon Dynasty, and it did come up from time to time.
yeah,
Just wasn't played that much due to being slow.
I mean
Three matters a lot.
these cards were in the same set, but still the first time I've seen it interact with something like a Goro Gor with such a game shifting ability, right? Yep.
Oh, and now he's kind of forced to
Yeah.
basically jump block and uses for the family to survive because that Hound Tamed Pup could become a 6/6.
Yeah. He's got the Blade Brand anyway, so even if the pump spell is only going to trade, right? Actually, the pump spell isn't even good. Like he on board, he can put
No,
a counter, right?
yeah, he puts a counter, and the Blade Brand along with the trample will seal this game up.
Yeah. So does that. Let's get some Death Touch Trample going and wrap this one up. I think. Nope. Looks like he's just going damage. Perhaps he was just had his mindset on using Blade Brand as like to trade with a creature that he just didn't register. Like, oh, it's just a lethal attack here. But the game continues on, and we got a 5 mana 6/6 vigilance. Not too
Yep,
bad.
because this is not the old werewolves; it's the new ones where they care about a game tracker as opposed to their own like similar tracker.
All right, so extinguish the light drawn here. Oh no, not extinguish the light, but swamp for extinguish the light drawn here. Looks like he's just gonna get rid of this. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's possible that he not super familiar with the Death Touch Trample interaction, or just had Blade Brand like set as like a combat trick rather than like it's gonna destroy my opponent here. So either way, we get Aaron with the win here with his Sultai deck over Austin. So congratulations for the win here in week one. We'll see everybody back for a second match in a little bit.